follow you because he sometimes understands when you jump over gaps not to follow you into the pit. Unlike Mudokons. Alright, quick callback, or call forward, I guess. In a game that's technically after this game, but this game is newer since it's a remake. It's called Munch's Odyssey, and it still follows Abe, but also his pal Munch. And that sign over there, Splinters, is actually a factory that you have to take down in that game. So if you guys haven't checked out Munch's Odyssey, you definitely should. It's the first game in 3D, and some might argue that was a bad choice. What are your thoughts on the game?
A lot of arguments about it. And I played it when I was like, what were it? 11 or 12 or something? I played it when I was pretty young, and maybe I'm like looking back and seeing it differently than it was, but as far as I can remember, I thought it was a really great game. I think that definitely there are some parts that seem a little disjointed, and the graphics, it is what it is. It's an old game. But for what it was at the first time, I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I'm one of the people who thinks that the jump to 3D actually was very good. In fact, it made me love Munch more than Abe himself. And as you can see there, jumping is very hard when you're going at high speed down an Elam. So, as if you didn't know by now, these games mainly are an environmental message. And I've sort of talked about this in my previous videos. But a lot of the times when you're doing an environmental message, you can get what people would call preachy. And if you play any of these games, you'll find out that it's definitely not preachy. I don't know if it's the separation between our world and this one, or if it's just like you really care for these characters, but the environmental message is sort of like a backdrop for the rest of your adventures. So you don't really feel too... It doesn't feel too in your face, I guess. As you can see, I'm not doing very well tonight, but I should get better as the night wears on. As for stuff I'm going to be doing after I'm done with this playthrough of doing Tasty, if you didn't know, there is a DLC coming out for this game called Alf's Escape. And Alf is a character that was actually introduced in Abe's Exodus as a minor role. He was brought back in Munch's Odyssey as a still minor role, but he's more prevalent in the community. And that's because he is basically Oddworld's connection to their community. Like, if you send in fan questions, Alf answers them. And in Abe's Exodus, there's a whole plot involving the Gluckins making this brewery. And the main ingredient is the Mudokons bone, because why not? And as you can see, we're just dotting with our sligs there. So Alf, after getting drunk on the brew himself, starts up a rehab clinic for all those who were addicted to brew, and that's his role in the future games. But Alf's Escape is a DLC, which is you're helping one Mudokon escape from Rupture Farms, and that is Alf. And it's basically meant to be a test of all your skills, like the hardest Oddworld project they've ever made. And also the first piece of original content since their game Stranger's Wrath. As you can see, there's lots of running in this level. Usually it's with Elam. They want to get their full use out of it. So, you had Abe's Odyssey. And that was the starter for this company. And it really did very well. And as you can see, it's definitely a really well thought out game. Then, they moved on with Abe's Exodus, actually the following year. And a lot of people agree that Abe's Exodus is actually superior to Abe's Odyssey in every way. Right here, this guy wants a password, but you cannot give him a password at the moment. because he won't give it to you first. You actually have to go find it. So first of all, we're going to make this well shoot us higher, so it'll allow us to get these rocks. And with these rocks, you guessed it, we're going to blow up mines. And then once we do that, shoot up here again, pull this lever, and then use the exact same well, because now that you pulled that lever, you can get all the way up here and get the password. So, Abe's Exodus was highly successful.
What? Hello? Give me the password. Okay.
So, Abe's Exodus was highly successful. Some might say even better than Abe's Odyssey. And that's because it introduced newer things, like in the original Abe's Odyssey you didn't have quick save, and you could only talk to one Mudakin at a time, and as in some of the puzzles you've seen me doing, you can see why that would be frustrating. Abe's Exodus was the first game to introduce the Alaya command, and the quick save just really helped things out tremendously. Imagine me going through all this without my quick save. There's just a simple take the possessed slig and shoot all his buddies. You can call that simple. So it also introduced Mudokins with feelings.
Follow me. Wait here.
And that definitely adds some dynamics to gameplay, but I'm gonna wait to talk about that and after this. There's our temple in the background. Paramonia, proving grounds of the ancient Mudokins and a non-stop laugh riot. If rabid paramites, falling rocks, and getting shot in the back is your idea of laughs. So yeah, this doesn't sound very fun. We're just gonna fall on our face there. So before I get into the specifics of Abe's Exodus, I'm going to ask Blaze's opinion on what he thought of that game and what he thinks was better or worse than Abe's Odyssey.
Well, yeah, you kind of from someone who like vaguely knows the distinctions between all the games, but not really like an Oddworld game fan. Abe's Odyssey is like kind of one of so I would say one third.
Well, the Abe's Exodus games are actually the Abe's Exodus game and Abe's Odyssey game are very similar to each other, as they came out 1 year apart and they both starred Abe and you save Mudokins in both. Before I continue, here's a cutscene. Alright, so that was definitely unsettling, guys. And that sort of gives you an idea of what we're going to be dealing with in here. Paramites, unlike Scrabs, Scrabs will chase after you on sight. Paramites actually play a little bit of a game with you. And that's what makes them so dangerous. You're going to chant over here to wake up the slug and get him to freak out. Even though you'll get shocked, you'll hopefully get him over to this side of the screen in order to possess him more easily. See, now that we're over here, you can possess him without the chance of pressure. Now, this is one of the weird things about this game that gives you pleasure. There's another slig down here, and we can kill him in 3 different ways. You have to get a trophy for killing a slig in 18 different ways. So, we could drop meat on his head. We could... Alright, so first, you can do that. Secondly, we could shoot him. And third, you can order your slog to attack him, and then shoot the slog. I'm gonna leave it on that because that's the one you guys haven't seen yet. But yeah, later on you're going to have to use your slugs to attack because there's areas the slugs just can't get into. We could just jump down so there's no fall damage, but we're gonna be safe. So anyway, there's a paramite back there. Yes, they are like spiders, in case you didn't guess by all the webbing earlier. Abe's Exodus, the emotions led to many different things. If the Mudokons were sad, you could apologize, but slapping them, which is a new thing I could do in that game, would send them into a suicidal depression. Paramites aren't pretty, but find them in pairs or back one against a wall and they get downright ugly. Follow them if you will, but be careful they don't lead you into a trap. Toy with paramites by throwing meat. Our temples have grown dark since the Magog cartel enslaved the Mudokons. Ignite the holy fires by throwing flintlock levers wherever they are found. Only when all flintlocks are fired will you be admitted to the temple's initiation ceremony. So, we're doing the exact same thing here as we did in Scrabmania. We're going to go in this door first, because this leads to the only secret in Paramonia. So yeah, paramites, if you see one, they'll lead you somewhere. Like, they won't attack you. They'll only attack you if you back them up against a wall, or if they lead you into a trap where there's another one of them. If there's more than one, you're screwed. There's a paramite right there. If I jump across, he's just gonna let me follow him. Do not follow him. He will lead you to another paramite. The only way to deal with that is if you have meat. Right here is really a luck game for me. So let's see if I can do it on the first try. We did it! Don't get too close or else he'll attack you before you can leave, but if you get close enough to hit that hanging thing, you'll knock down a rock and it'll smush them all. So, now that we have meat, here's our first secret. You have to roll. There we go. Only secret in Paramonia. So, overall, Abe's Exodus was a definite step up in the series, and it led to a better overall thing for our inhabitants. Over here, immediately run to the right. 2 paramites are going to come down. Now, if you're lucky, you can get over there and get that meat to stop that guy. We're actually going to chant right now to save all these people to the portal. And here's where this is actually hard. As you can see, these things are moving pretty fast. So we're going to have to time it just right. Alright. There was one last paramite, as you can see, we didn't get. We're going to open up our portal. This area can be tough. We made it. Okay. So yeah, just be patient with that part. That part can really get you. So now that that's over, we just need to get through all the different puzzles. So, yeah, back to Abe's Exodus. They can, like I already explained, sad. If they're angry, also apologize to them. They might also slap other Mudokons around. They can sometimes get, loopy on laughing gas. And if that happens, just slap them out of it. Then, there's blind Mudokons, and they will only listen to the sound of your voice. Right here, we're going to throw a piece of meat under here. It'll also knock down the beehives, which will kill our paramite friend, sadly. Well, you could say sadly. And there's the bell song up here. So, I'm gonna